This episode of Distraction is sponsored by Landmark College. Try their free comparison tool for colleges with learning disability support at lcdistraction.org. Landmark College. Learn your way. Succeed uniquely.
Because this isn't hocus pocus. This isn't something that hippies are doing with patchouli. This is real, common sense, evidence-based approach to healthcare.
Hello, this is Dr. Ned Hallowell, and welcome to Distraction. Today I have my favorite kind of guest, which is a guest who is going to teach me a lot, because I know nothing about his subject, and it is a very important subject. So I am in the enviable position of being a complete student, ready and eager to soak up knowledge like a sponge. And I have the recognized authority in the field of essential oils, Dr. Eric Zielinsk, otherwise known as Dr. Z. Dr. Z, author of the bestseller, The Healing Power of Essential Oils, and the soon-to-be-released The Essential Oils Diet. Now, I know nothing about what this topic entails, other than our producer, Sarah Gerton, said it was really interesting, and what she told me about it made me agree that it was very interesting. And in the several sentences I've exchanged with Dr. Z, he sounds like a very intelligent and interesting man. So with that introduction, let me ask Dr. Z to tell me and our listeners why we should all learn about essential oils.
Oh, well, first of all, Ned, thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege to be on your show. The answer to your question is profound because essential oils are now mainstream. 40 years ago, quite frankly, the only people using essential oils were hippies using patchouli. You got aromatherapists before even the name aromatherapist was coined, and it was very much marginalized as something that, was very, quote, alternative. Now, after 45, 50 years of savvy marketing, a lot of network marketing, you have Walmart, big box stores, Bed Bath & Beyond, private labeling essential oils. And marketing analyses actually predict that the next 10 years growth will be exponential. Millions of people are using essential oils, not only in America. Australia is one of the hottest markets. Canada, they're coming out in South America, everywhere. And so first, it's why this is so important is because I've had the privilege to interviewing some of the foremost chemistry experts and people who test these essential oils, and one of which Dr. Robert Pappas told me in one of my interviews for my telesummit that I hosted 3 years ago, that 75% of all the oils on the market are adulterated, which means they're either fake, like with synthetic ingredients, or they are cut with fillers of which you don't even know what you're getting. So bottom line, we're talking $1 billion industry, the hottest thing in health, alternative medicine right now. And we just want to make sure people are using them the right way.
What are they? What are essential oils?
It's funny. They're essential oils, right? We talk about essential oils. Neither are they essential, nor are they oils. And that's really fascinating for people because what are essential nutrients? Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals. Well, that's not what they are. They're actually known as bioactive compounds. And they're not oils in the sense that we know of olive oil, grapeseed oil, coconut oil. They're not fatty substances. They are lipid soluble, meaning they dissolve in lipids, but they're water hating. So that's where they get the word oil from, because if you put a drop of lemon essential oil in a glass of water, it's going to suspend on top. It's going to float. It doesn't disperse. So when you think of it that way, it makes you wonder, what are these things? Well, they're volatile organic compounds. Volatile meaning they readily evaporate. So when you put your nose in a rose and you smell that beautiful aroma, you're smelling the essential oil. You're smelling what passes through steam distillation. And that's how we get these things, is you distill. And to put things into perspective for you now, these are super concentrated plant-based compounds. Like, again, lavender flowers are filled with essential oils. That's what gives it the aroma. But when you distill 30 to 35 pounds, and again, it's hard to conceptualize, but 35 pounds of lavender blossoms, lavender flowers, you get one itty bitty bottle of lavender oil. And so oils were used up until modern time as regular medicine. In World War I, World War II, before the advent of the antibiotic, oregano, thyme, clove, tea tree were used as combat medicine. Our ancient ancestors have been not only using them aromatically through incense, burning leaves and trees. That's what that was. You're just enjoying the benefits of them aromatically.
Would they drink the oil, or would they just put it on their skin?
Yeah, well, here's the thing about that. Up until the last 100 years, our ancestors didn't use essential oils like we know them today because steam distillation wasn't invented till the 9th century AD by Arab alchemists, right? So what our ancestors did, what our ancestors created were salves, poultices. So you can even go, for me, I'm a Bible health educator, you go back to the Old Testament. When God told Moses, you get this big old vat of olive oil, huge, right? 500 hins. You add a little bit of cassia, a little bit of cinnamon.
What's a hin?
I don't even know. I should know. That's a good question. I'll defer that to my theologian friends. But we're talking several, like quarts, several quarts. Mm-hmm. So you get this huge old vat. I call it a vat because it's easier for me. You get this huge old vat of olive oil, and you're putting in cassia, you're putting in cinnamon, you're putting in myrrh, and you let that soak.
What's cassia?
Cassia is it's a spice. It has a very sweet aroma to it, a sweet flavor. It's in the cinnamon family, so it's something very spicy. And so,
and what's myrrh?
Myrrh is a resin. So frankincense, myrrh, and gold.
I've heard of them. I never knew what myrrh or frankincense were.
Yeah, they're resin. So you tap. Oh, this is great. I'm from Michigan, so we have maple trees, maple syrup. So when you tap a myrrh tree, when you tap a frankincense tree, you get this ooey goos that come out of it, and you let that harden, and it creates a resin.
So I know what maple syrup is. That comes from maple, sap. But so myrrh, is there myrrh syrup?
That's exactly what happens. You get the myrrh sap, you get the frankincense sap that comes out of the tree when you tap it, and then when you just allow it just to dry out and harden, it creates a little rock. Oh. And what people do in India today, it's called dhoop, D-H-O-O-P. It's a spiritual ritual. They'll burn frankincense, which is pennies on the dollar. They'll burn that every night. It helps purify their home of of evil spirits. They use it to meditate. Like people have been using, again, incense, frankincense for thousands of years.
Does the term incense come from frankincense?
That's a good question. Well, we know it's English. I doubt, but that's a good one because frankincense is a very common one that's used.
Yeah. Does frankincense smell good?
Yeah, it's very earthy. And for those people who are, they've ever been to a Greek Orthodox or a Roman Catholic church, they've smelled the incense during their high holiday feast days. Oftentimes that's myrrh, that's frankincense. It's these really earthy. I like it. And
so God told Moses to put myrrh and frankincense in a vat of olive oil.
Yeah, you got myrrh. Actually, the recipe is calamus, which is a version of aloe. Calamus, myrrh, cassia, and cinnamon. Have that soak up. And see, here's basically what they did back then was create an herbal extract. Yeah. So today, herbalists get a quart jar, mason jar. They fill it up with, say, rosemary. Yeah. Filled to the top of rosemary leaves. Yeah. And then they fill that up with olive oil. Let that wait for 2 weeks, and now you get this essential oil-rich ointment. See, that's what our ancestors used. Our ancestors didn't have steam distillation, again, until the 9th century.
So would they spread the ointment on the skin?
Oh, yeah. That was what God told Moses to anoint and purify the holiest of holies, where they were sacrificing animals. So you got to think, practically speaking, this was a very unhealthy environment where there's blood, there's guts, there's animal parts. And God's like, oh, this is a disinfectant. And when you quarantine somebody, have the priest with this ointment go and essentially disinfect the home.
But they didn't know what infection was.
No, they didn't, but God knew. See, that to me is the genius of all this behind, because all oils, and this is the key, what are oils again? They're what the plants have to ward off vectors. They're antibacterial, they're antifungal, they're antimicrobial. In all sense.
Back then, nobody knew about any of that stuff.
No, they didn't have the concept of what it was, but they did understand quarantine, and they did know what they were told to do. And they did know there were healing mechanisms to it.
Okay.
They did know that it would make their skin feel better, look better, smell better. And again, when you hear old texts about being anointed, that's what they did.
Right.
They anointed them with these essential oil-based oils.
And these ointments.
They had no idea what they were doing. Isn't that wonderful? So we do now, and we understand because they're so concentrated, though, you just can't slather on a bottle of lemon oil on your skin. You'll burn yourself. You'll create what's known as sensitization, which is contact dermatitis. We need to recognize, as natural as these are, they're still man-made, and they're highly processed to get, again, 30, 40, 50 pounds of lavender just to get one bottle.
Okay, so first of all, how do you know you're getting the real thing as opposed to these adulterated versions?
That is the million-dollar question. And I wish there were a simple answer. Unfortunately, the supplement industry and the essential oil industry are by and large unregulated, meaning there is no third-party government agency like AKA the FDA. So the Food and Drug Administration is more focused on approving pharmaceuticals before they hit the market.
Because I just went to Amazon before talking to you because I wanted to buy some of these essential oils, and I saw all these little bottles, and they were all very pretty. I didn't buy any because I wanted to talk to you first. You tell me which ones I should buy.
And that's a good point. I would never recommend buying an oil on Amazon. Because you have no idea who's selling what. 100% unregulated. Now,
where should I go to buy them then?
You would go to a supplier, and this is where I got to be careful because according to recent regulations, anyone that sells or promotes an essential oil company, by law, their freedom of speech is restricted so that they can't talk about the healing mechanisms of the oil. All right? So here's the thing. There's a financial bias. It's called an illegal drug claim. So my book talks about how to use essential oils for candida infections, for autoimmunity, for pain, for labor, delivery.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I'm able to do that is because I don't sell them. So to dance on that.
So how can you tell me where to go to buy my oils?
Yep. So here's the thing. We actually have in my book, The Healing Power of Essential Oils. It's like a 5 to 6 step process. And it's the same process I would recommend for people trying to get supplements. And first, it starts with a good referral. And chances are you know somebody. Hopefully you do. Family member.
Dr. C, I don't know anyone who knows this, so you can't tell me where I should go to get these oils?
I literally can't.
What am I going to do? What are my listeners going to do? Here you are, the world's authority, and you can't tell me where to go to get oils.
No, and that's for everyone else because that's why my work has reached so many people because we talk about how people have used oils to treat and prevent cancer and all balance blood sugar, deal with cholesterol. And if I would sell or recommend, I'd be restricted, and I couldn't say that. 100%.
Well, can you give me a hint? I mean, I shouldn't go to Amazon. That's where I get everything.
Yeah, so you don't want to go to Amazon.
And I shouldn't go to Toys R Us, obviously. So
no, you don't want to go to Toys R Us. So
Whole Foods, do they have oils at Whole Foods?
Whole Foods does.
Good.
And
okay. All right.
So
okay,
Whole Foods does. So I would actually start, if you don't know where to go, I would actually start at your local, if you have one, a local health food store.
Like at Whole Foods, is that count?
No, I'm talking like the old school because Whole Foods has been bought up by Amazon. They're very systematized, I would go to a local health food store and I would actually talk. Oftentimes these people know what they're talking about. And these people, okay, so here's the thing. You can actually go online and type up essential oil brands. And you could start from there. And here's a couple things to look for. Openness, transparency in sourcing. Yeah. Where they get their oils from, where they get the plant matter from, how they do it. Okay. I'm proposing some things. It's going to take a little bit of work.
Okay.
All right?
I'm a good worker. I'm a hard worker.
So there's a little bit of work, and I wish it were different. But, my heart goes out to all these people that are spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars every month on supplement protocols, and they have no idea what they're getting.
I know. Believe me, I know. Sorry, the next important question is why should I? Or why should anybody? Why is it worth it? Putting in the effort to find a good, reliable essential oil?
Because, in my opinion, this should be first approach to any illness, any disease, any accident that you have. When your medicine cabinet is filled with remedies that that you've used in the past, so whether it's an ache or a pain, whether it's your child with a 104 temperature.
All right, Dr. Z, so next time I get a cold, what should I do? What oil? I take an oil and rub it on my nose, or what do I do?
Good question. So there are 3 different ways that use essential oils. One is by inhaling it. Another one, and that could be through a steam diffuser. That could be through a little inhaler tube that looks like a lipstick tube that you basically soak a cotton swab inside of it so you get the aroma. Essential oils, actually, by the way, have been shown in the air to kill the flu virus. So the flu virus is floating in the air. The essential oils are floating in the air, and detection that essential oils because they're so antiviral. So the cold, you can apply them topically or on your body, and you ingest them. So if I got sick, which I have, which I do, I create what I call my Dr. Z's flu shot because it actually helped me not only get over the flu, but this is what helped my family and I get over pneumonia one year.
Wow.
So I'm a big fan of lipospheric vitamin C. It's this lipid-encapsulated vitamin C that has instant bioavailability, right? A lot of people don't realize the vitamin C that they're consuming goes right through their body, and they don't properly absorb it. And how you properly absorb vitamins and minerals is you usually need fat. So you got this lipospheric vitamin C. Now, we'll recommend this. Live On Labs is a good brand that you could get on Amazon. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll get a packet of that Live On Labs lipospheric vitamin C. I'll get 1 to 2 drops of my, quote, immunity blend, and I'll explain that in just a minute, my immunity blend of essential oils, and I'll add a teaspoon of
Your
honey.
immunity blend, do you make it?
No. Just we actually show people how to make blends. A drop of this, a drop of that, right?
Okay.
So of an immunity blend that we like to make, and a teaspoon of raw, we like Manuka honey, a teaspoon of coconut oil.
Good. What's Manuka honey?
Manuka honey is a fantastic honey based out of New Zealand, known for its just antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral effects. It's arguably one of the healthiest, best ways of ingesting honey. Yep. So I like that. A little bit of pink salt, pink Himalayan salt.
Right.
And I like some cinnamon. Cinnamon and honey has been a known cure for centuries. People have used that for everything from allergies to help upset stomach. And so what I'll do is I'll consume 1 or 2 of these doses every day. And typically speaking, my family and I, if we get sick, we're only sick for a day or 2, we get right back up. But our immunity blend, this is key. Wherever you're buying your oils, and most essential oil companies now have to name them like immunity blend, metabolic blend, weight loss blend, whatever it is. So you'll find most of the companies have their already pre-made blends, and they typically come up with these types of oils. And this is what we like to start off with. 1 part, equal parts of clove essential oil, cinnamon bark, not cinnamon leaf, we're a little bit different, eucalyptus, rosemary, lemon, and orange. Now, this is a power-packed synergistic blend, and this is one thing, Ned, that really got me when I was researching essential oils, was one is good, but if you could find the right blend, they have an expounding effect, where they actually help each other. In a sense, there's a synergistic effect where they perform better in vitro tests, in human trials against certain things, like MRSA. We just had a friend of ours just undergo MRSA. Nothing works. It's an incurable disease in the medical world. But, you know, thyme oil, oregano, and clove can help with MRSA. It's been shown to kill MRSA. So when you have antibiotic-resistant bacteria...
Do you drink it, or do you put it
You could definitely drink it. And so this recipe that I suggested with the lipospheric vitamin C with the honey, you consume that. You mix it up. It tastes like... You know, Mary Poppins, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. It's very sweet, but you consume that, you wash it down with a glass of water, you're good to go. It's safe for children because it's highly diluted, and I would add just 1 to 2 drops of your immunity blend to start off with. It's a great way.
Are these recipes in your book?
Yeah. All these, I mean, we have, I don't know how many, 150 different recipes and remedies, everything from making your own hand soap to our Candida blend.
But you can't tell us where to go to get it.
The oils.
Yeah.
No. Nope.
We're supposed to go to the health food store.
Well, again, you could start. If you don't have a recommendation, if you don't have a friend, most people that I know can go to a friend, someone that they know that is pretty healthy, that they know that are using oils.
What if I don't have a friend who is using oils?
So if you don't have a friend using essential oils, you could go to your local friend, your natural health food store. You can go online and type up essential
I can go
oils.
online. That's right. I go online and I say I'm one of those rare people who doesn't have a friend who's using oils. So
You actually are one of those rare people who have a friend. And I'll guarantee you do have a friend. You just don't know it. They're closet users.
Okay.
So here's what you want to do. You want to go to the company, and here's what you really want to find out. You want to get a GCMS. You want to get a gas chromatography mass spectrometry report. Essentially, all the best companies are very transparent now. They post the batch-specific report of each oil. So what does that look like? I don't expect you to understand the chemistry, but just like if you were to get a blood panel, you'll get a report that says, hey, within normal limits or without. They will have the, quote, blood panel, which is, pun intended, like the blood of the lifeline of the oil, that tell you what's in the oil. And you'll know if there are adulterants or anything synthetic or pesticides, because that will be in the report. And so the companies now realize you need to be transparent. So you choose and you type up and you look best essential oil companies and do your research. Go to my website. It's free. Go to naturallivingfamily.com. Type up essential oil companies, and I have a step-by-step approach how to find these things, and I'll walk you right through it.
Say the website again, Natural Living...
naturallivingfamily.com.
Naturallivingfamily.com. Okay. Now, so you've talked mainly about oils for treating disease. Now, what do they do to promote health?
What they do specifically is enhance the body's ability to heal itself, and that's something that's known as harmonization. So they help balance blood markers like cholesterol. They help your body balance blood pressure, blood sugar. And they have this innate ability, it's called vitalism, the power that made the body heal the body. So we're looking at a very intuitive inside-out approach. So again, it's helping the body create synapses, if you want to get too technical or not, helping the body reduce inflammation, helping the body heal itself at the cellular level. So when you're smelling citrus oils, which have been proven to be mood boosters, antidepressants, it's all through the power of smell where they interact with your limbic system, which is your primal brain, your emotions, your mood. So if you just smell orange, you start to produce serotonin, dopamine.
So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but if I had... what is it called, a diffuser? If I had a citrus oil diffuser in my office, in my waiting room, that would be good for all my patients?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Now, here's a caution, though. Here's a caution for practitioners is, be respectful that some people have allergies, and so one person might have a negative reaction. But you know what? Most doctors aren't concerned about having, like, plugins in their wall, the air freshener. So, depending on where you're at. But that is Dr. David Stoyer, an endodontist that I interviewed for one of my summits. He diffuses a nice, happy blend of essential oils during oral surgery. He just says it helps.
So what's a good brand of diffuser? Can I get that on Amazon?
Oh, yeah. And yeah, that's the other thing. When it comes to the tools, see, here's why, Doc. This is why I don't recommend buying the oil on Amazon. It's the same reason why I wouldn't recommend buying your medicine. I'm talking medicinal purposes. People, and I'm kidding you not, are using essential oils to treat disease. We help a lot of what we call medical failures. Medicine hasn't worked for these people. They're on their deathbed or they're at their wit's end. And so if someone's going to use an essential oil, like your supplements for medicine, I would be very cautious. Make sure you go directly to the source. And here's why. The big essential oil companies don't sell. The right essential oil companies don't sell on Amazon. They have third parties that are God knows what they do. So just get it from the source. They're all available online.
But diffusers I can get on Amazon.
Yeah, diffusers, your aromatherapy inhalers, all the little bottles, all the little gadgets are all fun. You can get all that on Amazon really, really cheap.
Yeah. So, but if I want to have, and if I want to have it in my waiting room, I should get a citrus oil.
I would suggest that, yeah. And just know that you could create the mood that you're trying to. Maybe towards the end of the night where you're trying to, maybe peace and calming, you could put some lavender, some Roman chamomile, some vetiver to really kind of help lower the, just give people just relaxation. If you're dealing with anything that's highly stressful, those are great oils to reduce stress and anxiety. You can create an atmosphere.
Here's one that says it's an ultrasonic aromatherapy diffuser.
Yeah, what that means is there's a vibrating disc at the bottom of a water tank. The water tank will be 100 to 200 milliliters of water. That disc on the bottom vibrates so fast that it breaks up water particles and essential oil particles to emit steam into the air. It's a very safe, effective way around pets, around kids. It's just a light steam that comes out.
Would that be a good one to get?
Yeah, I love those. I would actually stay away unless you're trying to specifically treat a disease, and if you're under the guidance of an aromatherapist, stay away. But here's the thing, though. Stay away from a nebulizer. A nebulizer is a type of essential oil that's pure oil. It's 40 drops of pure oil with no water. So you're getting, I actually overdosed before I knew what I was doing. I was in my office. I had the door shut. I had my nebulizer. I started feeling woozy. I got nauseous. Like, what's going on here? It's way too strong. You only use those for 10, 15 minutes at a time. The diffuser you're looking at, you could run that all day and you'll be fine.
So how about the This one, essential oil diffuser, ultrasonic. Ultrasonic, is that the kind you want?
Yeah. That's typically the one that most people are buying. There's several. Aroma to Go. That's a good company that I've seen. They've actually tested their oils with. They've tested their diffusers with pure oil because you want to be sure. Here's one thing you have to be sure, y'all, is that the plastic isn't so cheap that it will degrade, it will erode. Because citrus oils, the cinnamon oils, these are the petrochemicals in most plastics are so weak that essential oils are just eat them up. And so you want to make sure the plastic is PET plastic, a medical grade plastic, and it should say that in the instruction or in the description because oils will eat that up. And most companies know at this point. And you could check by the reviews. I like the reviews on Amazon. They really help. Like 1,000 reviews, 5-star. It's gone through a lot of people. And just read the reviews.
What did you say was good? Aroma to Go?
Yeah, I like aromatogo.com, and I think that's a number 2. Aroma number 2 Go. They have some pretty good stuff. I've used theirs in the past. And all of the major essential oil companies will sell their diffusers and all that other stuff. And here's the thing, though. A lot of these companies, because it's grassroots, they're network marketing. So it might be worth spending $25 to become a, quote, customer to get a wholesale discount. That works. You know, these are good companies. A lot of them sell good quality oils.
So what else can essential oils do to promote health?
You know, Ned, one thing that I feel most people don't recognize enough is we are putting ourselves in a toxic overload by the chemicals that we're putting on our skin, by our cleaning products, and what we're inhaling throughout the day. So to me, the biggest bang for your buck is throwing away your hand sanitizers, which have no functionality at all on the human body. This is one of the worst products out there.
Really?
Oh yeah, they're filled with an ingredient called triclosan, which has been a registered pesticide since 1969. They dry out your skin, annihilate your microbiome.
Really?
And you got to think, the skin is the first defense of your immune system. I mean, that's basic immunology 101. And you don't want dry skin. You want skin that's healthy. You want skin that's robust. Skin that has some, dirt and bacteria on it once in a while. Germs are not bad for y'all. We, according to the Human Microbiome Project, are 10 bacteria cells to 1 human cell. So we've been in this hyper antiseptic environment, and we're too clean. Some of the healthiest kids out there are farmers' kids. They get out there, they get their hands dirty, right?
Yeah.
We've lost touch with that. So, so if you want a natural version of hand sanitizer, and don't get me wrong, we got 4 kids. We go on our trips to Disney. We clean poopy diapers on the road. If you need something in a pinch. But, your soaps, your lotions, your potions, all that stuff. If it has phthalates in it, synthetic fragrances, now this is where it gets really serious because synthetic fragrances, and anything that you have from your perfume to your cologne to any lotion or soap that has a smell to it, if it's not essential oil based, it's a synthetic ingredient that tries to mimic the chemical structure of the plant. And those have been linked to autoimmunity, Alzheimer's, dementia, and cancer.
Wow.
So, we could blame, to me, there's not enough discussion about synthetic fragrances because right now, one of the natural health, scapegoats for the rise in autism are vaccines. I don't want to argue that. I think what we need to discuss more is okay, what environmentally is going on in addition? And you see a direct link with learning disabilities, the rise in autism, ADHD, with the rise of all these smells. Because when you were a kid, I'll but guarantee that the soap you had smelled like soap. Didn't smell like whatever, all these different floral arrangements. Now everything smells. And they smell good, but at what cost?
Yeah.
And none of it on the market, unless you're getting it directly from an essential oil-based aromatherapy company, none of this stuff is good for you.
Yeah.
And so that's the concern. So to me, that's where essential oils really are worth their weight in gold, is starting to help you detox your life. And we would invite you to start making your own stuff. Like my wife is a DIY guru. She makes all of our lotions and she takes care of the kids and me so well. That's her love language. That's her ministry. That's what she does. And well, maybe you're too busy and you can't DIY. Well, easy thing. Go to your local health food store, and yes, you can go to Whole Foods, and get an unscented, non-toxic fill in the blank. Soap, shampoo, conditioner, just something. And it's so easy to find. Look at the ingredients. You'll see whether something's toxic or not. And if you don't, you can go to my website, go to the book and find out what ingredients are toxic. Like tar, coal tar, phthalates, parabens. All these things are fillers that create agitation on the skin and are neurotoxic. You get an unscented product. You add a few drops of essential oil, and now you have something more enhancing, more life-giving, antimicrobial, right? Mood boosting.
And are these, they're not dangerous for people in any way?
If used properly, great question. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're going to pour a bottle of lemon on your skin,
Right.
you could hurt yourself. But if you use them wisely and follow the instructions that I've learned in aromatherapy school, just proper dilutions, 1 drop here per ounce of this, it's recipes. It's pretty simple. Once you get it down, you got it. Like I got my book filled with charts to help people. Once you get that down, you find yourself very much empowered because you're not guessing anymore. But to your point, yes, if you use them unwisely, you could hurt yourself.
But if you put them like in a humidifier, that's not bad.
No. I mean, you could put them in a humidifier, air purifier, dehumidifier. Actually, for people that are dealing with mold, putting a couple drops of tea tree in your dehumidifier water tank is a great way of keeping that, because that can help with mold. And we dealt with toxic black mold.
I think, gosh, for me and listeners, I think the hard part will be where to get these essential oils. But you're saying talk to someone who's been using them, and they'll refer you to where they've been getting them.
That's a good place to start. And here's the thing, though, Ned, and this is something that I wish more people took more caution on, is, I might tell you, hey, this is my favorite brand of supplements, but it might not work for you. We're all biochemically different. We're all individual. So here's something to consider. You just want a pure essential oil. Again, get the batch-specific report. It should be right available online. Like, you go right to lemon, it should say that now. Like, that's the level of transparency we're at. If you got a pure essential oil, you should be good to go. But that doesn't guarantee safety because you have to use them the right way. But purity also doesn't guarantee therapeutic efficacy, meaning your body's chemistry has to interact with the chemistry in the oils in a positive way. So there takes some trial and error. And people, and I know lots because we have so many folks following us online, they're so faithful and loyal to take their supplements and do the things, but they're not getting better. And it doesn't mean that the supplements are junk. It just means that something's not working. And just like a doctor, and this is where the onus is on us, Ned, this is the truth. Just like a doctor practices medicine, we have to practice our own healthcare. And it takes some trial and error. So there's something known, I talk about this in the book, there's something known as the organoleptic evaluation. So let's say you ask a couple friends, you go to the natural food store, you go online, you do a little digging around, you spend an hour or two, right, just poking around, and you say, what, I think this is a good company. I like what they stand for. They seem like they have good sourcing. They get their products, and, it's organic now, all this stuff. You kind of look at all this stuff, and you feel comfortable about one. Get a sample kit, spend $15-$20 and get a couple little miniature bottles. And what you want to do is you want to experience them. And this is called the, again, quote, organoleptic evaluation. This is exactly what people should be doing before they just dive in and take all the antibiotics your medical doctor tells you to do. This is the same thing you should do before taking supplements, is sample it.
But should I tell a patient, let's say I have a patient who's struggling with depression, should I tell them to consider getting a diffuser and putting citrus essential oil into it?
100%. And here's how I would recommend it. I would recommend say, hey, these oils have been shown to help with depression. You have orange. You could go to bergamot, neroli. There's several. Lime, grapefruit. So you could recommend several. Say, look.
What's bergamot?
Bergamot, Earl Grey tea? Yeah, it's a citrus. It's like a green pitted citrus. That's what flavors your morning breakfast, your Earl Grey. It's a really nice flavor. So oil of bergamot.
Is a diffuser the same thing as a humidifier?
No. I mean, these, in a sense, technically speaking, a humidifier produces much more steam to a point where it will change the humidity of your room. A steam diffuser is so light, it just enhances. You're not going to be wet next to it like you would a humidifier.
So I should tell my patient to get it's called a diffuser?
Yeah, I'll get a diffuser. I would get a steam diffuser. You can get those again on Amazon. And try a couple drops of a citrus oil. Or again, if they're going from they're buying at their favorite company, they'll have their quote citrus blends, their happy blends. Like again, these companies specialize in creating blends that really interact and work well together. So people statistically have shown will respond in a positive way to this.
And how about if they had anxiety? Same?
Actually, anxiety, yes, but bergamot specifically. Bergamot,
Okay.
valerian, like valerian root,
Okay.
vetiver,
Okay.
chamomile. These are very calming, and they actually been shown to help panic attacks stop, like in
Okay.
its tracks kind of thing.
So chamomile and bergamot.
Yep. And just think
and
herbal
valerian.
medicine.
Okay. Yeah,
And so for panic attacks, something I used to struggle with when I was younger, there is something known as, if you're on Amazon right now, you can type up aromatherapy inhaler. So if you just type up inhaler, it looks like a lipstick tube. It's a little tube that has cotton inside of it that you soak in oil. And there's a lid, so it contains the smell. When you're going through a panic attack, it could be, and this is the nice thing about this, it's on the go. You could fit this in your pocket, your purse, your office, desk, drawer, right? It's on the go aromatherapy. And the nice thing is it's known as a personal inhaler because someone next to you isn't going to smell it quickly. It's not like having a diffuser all around you, which infects other people. This is very personal. And people don't even know what you're doing. But you get that. You have that at your disposal, especially if you're prone to chronic stress or anxiety, panic. It could be life-saving for people, life-changing.
So you get a aromatherapy inhaler.
Yep, a little
it's
personal inhaler.
A nasal inhaler for essential oils.
Yeah, it's right there on the go.
Yeah, and you can put in your valerian or your chamomile or your bergamot.
Yeah, and you see, here's the thing. This is where a little trial and error comes into play. And this is also why I like recommending going to the local health food stores because you could sample. Oftentimes you could sample them, you could see, smell. And this is something I want to be careful of because, again, it's the power of smell that directly impacts the limbic system, a part of the brain. Mm-hmm. So you want to make sure that your body's going to respond well to these. Because as positive essential oils are, they can also trigger a negative aspect. So if someone were abused or traumatized and there were an aroma in the area, that could bring you back to that. They literally imprint your brain. So, best example is, I don't know about you, but during Thanksgiving dinner, I walk downstairs, my wife makes a beautiful meal. I have a lot of fond memories of Thanksgiving. I think of grandma. I think of going to my grandma's home. I think of Thanksgiving. That smell, it made an imprint.
Yeah.
Right? It's that powerful. That's where it's tied to your brain. But also, imagine the opposite. Imagine there were a powerful lavender smell and you were traumatized in that environment. So you could smell lavender and not even realize every time you're around lavender, you get agitated. It's not the lavender's fault. It's because something happened to you and that left an imprint on the body.
Yeah. No,
That's why, Ned, so many therapists are using essential oils with recall healing to trigger and to help facilitate. Because right now, if someone, especially with mental illness and cancer, according to my good friend, Dr. Tony Jimenez, who runs the Hope for Cancer clinics in Mexico, he is an emotional recall therapist. Cancer, by and large, is an emotional disorder. There is deep hurt, roots of bitterness, unforgiveness, regret, and it just manifests into just a chronic inflammatory response. So if you can help people trace back and bring healing, forgiveness, and love, and if you're using aromatherapy during that process, then when you're struggling years from now, you have your sacred oils that you use during the healing will trigger that healing response. So you'll go right back to your therapist's office and you're there physically, emotionally, mentally, because it produces the same neural reaction. It's profound. That's why we use essential oils.
This is so interesting, Dr. Z. I'm going to try some of these things, and we have to have you back in a while and let me report on my progress and progress with the patients that I see who might try it out also. And you're right, it goes all the way back to the Old Testament and the history. I mean, these have been in use for thousands of years.
So when people are saying why, my answer to the why is, where do you think chemists and pharmacy companies are getting the chemical structures of the drugs that people are taking every day? They're not inventing them in a vacuum. So willow bark is a perfect example because there's a chemical known as methyl salicylate. Well, we've been able to manufacture that and create a methyl salicylate pill that we know as aspirin.
Right.
Well, why not go back to the willow oil? Why not back to other oils that we know that are analgesic, like peppermint, birch, wintergreen? Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to caution y'all, is not to throw away the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Because my father-in-law is a PhD chemist, and he worked extensively with essential oils and to produce the chemicals. He worked for Dow Chemical. To produce the chemicals that he did, they oftentimes used essential oil-based constituencies to start with. So that's where the science comes into play, because this isn't hocus pocus. This isn't something that hippies are doing with patchouli. This is real change. This is real common sense, evidence-based approach to healthcare.
Totally. Thank you. I love learning something new, and I can't thank you enough for joining me.
Well, I appreciate your openness and your conversation. It's been lovely.
Well, thank you so much, and you got to come back after I've learned some more.
Perfect.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Dr. Z.
You're welcome.
Okay, take care. Okay, please remember to reach out to us with your questions and show ideas. We love them, we thrive on them, we need them, we metabolize them, digest them, and make use of them. Our email address is connect@distractionpodcast.com. That's connect@distractionpodcast.com. And please leave us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts if you like what you're hearing. We need those, we depend on those, and we absolutely thrive because of those. Distraction is produced by Collisions, the podcast division of CRN International. Collisions, podcasts for curious people. Our audio engineer is the impeccable Roman Zeitlin. Our editor is the invisible Chris Lathan. And our producer is the absolutely most spectacularly beautiful and absolutely stupendously brilliant, imaginative, and indefatigable Sarah Gurton.